Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Anime Mega Reviews, and this is the last video for 2020. Not actually like the last video for my channel, but of course this is like the last video for the year 2020, and 2021 is when the next time you guys are going to see one of my videos. However, this is the last video, and I'm really going to put together a really awesome theory for you guys because it really does involve some deep thinking and some pretty plot convenient points that Yuki may have set up for a very long time, and something that us as the audience really haven't noticed. So just sit back and relax and enjoy the video. Alright guys, so this video is definitely going to contain a lot of details and spoilers in the manga, so if you haven't caught up with the manga, I recommend that you do. But I'm going to take us back to Black Clover chapter 240, or rather 242, and we're going to be talking about Dante's conversation with Lucifero. So if you guys don't know, of course, Lucifero is the top demon, at least that we know of, that is currently trapped in the underworld, because if he gets out, it's going to be Armageddon. Noct explains that in further chapters. However, we have to really take a good look at the conversation that Dante had with Lucifero, and I think that Lucifero was kind of lying to Dante. Because we know that, of course, Dante had no idea about Asta. He was very surprised about another demon-possessed individual in the Clover Kingdom, and he asked Lucifero, did any other demons get out of the underworld that you may know of? And so Lucifero, he tells him that, well, Zagreus did a couple hundred of thousands years ago, who knows? Most likely about 500 to 600 years ago is when Zagreus actually got out of the underworld. How he got out of the underworld, we will never know. However, during this whole entire interaction between Dante and Yami and Asta, Dante is really taking a beating here, and that's kind of the one thing that we just have to look at. And I know that some may chalk this up to Dante having healing magic or a certain form of healing magic, so therefore Lucifero really wasn't that concerned about it. However, it is kind of strange here because the demons that are attached to the Dark Triad, they seem to be holding all their eggs in one basket, especially since these three individuals are supposed to be responsible for opening up a portal to the underworld, therefore unleashing these demons upon the earth. And so it seems like to me that if Lucifero was really up on game, especially during this battle, that he would have found some way to save Dante from being KO'd. Now, I know that the recent translation of the recent Black Clover chapter had just came out, and Vonica actually stated that Asta was able to kill Dante. However, that may just be a translation error. And so naturally, we're going to have to wait till the Viz translation comes out for us to get a clear, perfect translation of what Vonica was actually talking about. However, regardless of what the translation is, Dante was seriously injured and near the brink of death. Why didn't Lucifero help him out? Now, that is actually where I'm going to get into some serious theory territory right now, because what if I told you that it was Lucifero's plan all along for Asta to not only defeat Dante, but have a part in destroying the Tree of Cliffoff? And I know that some of you may be watching this right now and saying, that's kind of crazy. Like, why would Lucifero want Asta, who clearly wants to at least defeat the demons? I'm not exactly sure if his goals align with Libe's, because Libe, he just wants to kill all demons because they're responsible for the death of Asta's mother, Lucita. However, this happened. Dante was officially KO'd and nearly on the brink of death, and Lucifero really didn't do anything. And it's not as though it was sort of like outside of his power. Maybe he could have gotten Dante to 90% power, because it did state that they're not able to use 100% of the demonic power. However, it doesn't say that they can't use 90%. And so that is kind of weird. One would think that Lucifero would maybe take control of Dante's body to be able to defeat Asta and Yami. However, he didn't exactly lift up a finger. Now, this theory definitely involves Libe, because one thing that we did see was that, of course, Libe was in the lowest of the lowest spots in the underworld. He was abused by low-ranking demons. This man's right here took a serious beating every single day for possibly hundreds of years. Now, some people speculate about the age of Libe, but I just think that he's at least a few hundred years old. The other older demons may be thousands and thousands and thousands of years old, especially when we take into account of the history of the Black Clover universe and how old Lucifero may actually be, along with Magicla and the other demons. But something really piqued my interest in the recent chapters of the Black Clover series. When we look at this main chapter right here, when Lucifero had took over the body of Libe and eventually caused the death of Lucita, we see that Lucifero had this ability to take control of low-ranking demons. Now, why was he able to do this? It isn't exactly explained upon. However, one theory could be that Lucifero is actually the father of all of these demons, and somehow they are his offspring. Now, of course, this isn't necessarily given a lot of evidence for this theory because we're not exactly even sure how demons are born. All Libe had said was that demons are given a rank as soon as they are born and they cannot change that rank. And that is something that's very interesting right here. However, why was Libe cast down as the lowest level? Now we know this because he didn't have any magic, but that all changed when he was put into an extremely emotional situation after the death of Lucita, and he quickly gained the ability of anti-magic and became a high-ranking demon. Now, the other connection that Asta has with Lucifero could actually be the fact that Asta's name is derived from Old Norse language, and that meaning is actually star, and in Greek as well is connected with the word star. And also when we look at Lucifer, the other name that comes to mind is morning star. Now, why is this all important? Well, for one thing, if you look at Asta's symbols and his name, it's clearly meaning of star. Like, all these connections are just not for any reason. And we know that Yuki Tabata is a master at making connections. Now, the other connection that Asta could have to Lucifero is the fact that Asta now currently, when he goes into this black form, he has 2 horns, and when he went into his enraged form, he had 3 horns. So one could assume that when he goes into his Devil Union mode, possibly at 100%, he will have 4 horns. The only other demon that we've seen so far in the series that has 4 horns is Lucifero, maybe indicating his rank or power. Magicula only has 2, and also the demon that's currently possessing Dante only has 2. Now, more of a connection with the star is that when Asta went into his Devil Union mode, we saw this symbol in his eye, which is clearly a star. So this leads more connection to Lucifero, which again, guys, the other name for Lucifer, rather, the meaning of it is morning star. Now, what does all of this actually mean as far as Lucifero's plan? Now, one theory that I do have is that the reason why Lucifero didn't exactly interact with Dante during this fight, or rather help Dante out, is because he needs Asta. Now, some people may be like, well, why would he need Asta? My other theory is that Lucifero has set this up from the beginning. And this is definitely very possible considering just what Lucifero has shown us to begin with in this Black Clover series. He was able to take over Libe's body all the way from the underworld, and we still don't exactly know who Asta's father actually is, and it has to be someone that is capable of withstanding sexual intercourse with Lucita because she can take someone's life force away. The best candidate for that would obviously be a demon or a devil, a high-ranking devil possessing a human, and that would accomplish a certain goal for Lucifero, implanting the seed in Lucita, because all these connections that Asta has to Lucifero is hard to deny, and even with Libe, it's still kind of, shaky at best. I'm still not exactly sure about that as well. However, something interesting happened when we looked at Nox's plan. Like, in that past panel that I showed you guys, Nox was talking about the what if plan. Like, what if the Clover Kingdom captains and the Magic Knights aren't able to defeat the Dark Triad? Well, Nox's plan is just simply to destroy the Tree of Cliff-Off using Asta's anti-magic. However, that will come at the cost of Yami and William's life. And that, of course, would break our boy Asta because he would be emotionally tortured. But going back to Lucifero and just his plans, I mean, this is a demon that has been around for literally thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It's hard for me to believe that they're going to put all their eggs in one basket with the Dark Triad, because the Dark Triad are human beings just like the Clover Kingdom Magic Knights. They can be killed, and even in these recent chapters, they're really being exposed for their weaknesses. And I think I've said that before in this video, but if we look at even with Vonica's situation right now, yes, we know that Vonica most likely will defeat Charlotte. However, just the fact that Charlotte is able to kind of get this weakness in with Vonica is pretty disturbing to look at if you are one of the demons that is possessing the Dark Triad, because your plan is to get out of the underworld, and these Clover Kingdom Magic Knight captains are going to stop that. I don't know, guys. That's just me. Seems like Lucifero throughout everything, and even the other demons, they're just like chilling. So, I think they have plans on top of plans, and the Dark Triad isn't the only plan, and the other plan could actually be Asta. And what I mean by that is that, what if I told you that the Tree of Cliff-Off, instead of being a portal, was really a lock to the underworld, like a lock on a door? Because I know that many people in the Black Clover fandom speculate how the demons actually got into the underworld in the first place. How did they get into this predicament? We know that Zagreus wanted a physical body desperately. We know that these demons are spiritual beings. And I believe that Libe, I'm not exactly sure how he was able to materialize a physical body, but that may just have been because of the ritual. But man, that would be pretty ironic that Asta was the hero who uses anti-magic, was actually the one to unlock that door. And that was Lucifero's plan all along. And that was the reason why he really wasn't too concerned about Dante getting killed. Because Lucifero wanted Asta to do that. Why? Because Asta may actually be his son. And that would be pretty wild just to think about. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, make sure you subscribe if you're new. Also, comment down below and tell me what you guys thought about this video. Again, guys, take this theory with a grain of salt. It is kind of serious. However, I think this theory is pretty concrete just because of the connections that it does have. When we look at Asta, the name meaning star, and Lucifer, morning star. I mean, it's pretty awesome just to think about. Anyway, guys, I'm out for tonight. And make sure you guys have a wonderful day tomorrow, and peace.